This story is not for the squeamish, okay? You've been warned. Dr. Kenny Bond told InsideEdition.com about a patient who pulled, get this, a 5-foot-long tapeworm out of his gut. Here's how it went down.
I see this young gentleman. He's a 30-year-old Asian gentleman, and he comes in. I said, "What brings you in here today?" And he says, "I want to get treated for worms." And I said, "Okay, well, just, tell me why you want to get treated for worms." And he said, "Well, I was having some abdominal cramping, and I was having some diarrhea, and I went to the bathroom, and I had some bloody diarrhea. And so, I was a little concerned, but then after I had a bout of bloody diarrhea, I saw a little piece of what I thought was my intestine hanging out." And I said, "Out your bottom?" And he said, "Yeah."
Go on, doctor.
So I said, "What did you do?" So I reached down and I grabbed it, and I started to just pull it out to see if it's a little piece or a big piece. But a big long string kind of came out, and he pulls it out from his bottom, and it keeps coming and coming. And he's like, "Oh my goodness!" And he thinks he's got this really long piece of bowel that's like just basically falling off of him, like pieces are just falling out of him. But then when he pulls it out, it starts wriggling in his hand. It starts moving. And he's like, "Oh my God!" Then he knew it was a worm, and he just like sort of dropped it, like on the bathroom floor, but still coming out of him.
It gets better.
He doesn't know what to do with it. He takes a toilet paper roll, and he takes the end of the worm and rolls it around and pulls it out, and just keeps pulling and pulling. It just keeps coming and coming until finally he comes to an end, and he's got this giant rolled up worm around the toilet paper roll. And so he just sort of rinses it off a little bit just because he's scared because there's bloody poop on it and everything. And he puts it in a bag and he comes in, and that's basically when I see him. So I said, "Is that the worm you have with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." So you want to see it? And I was like, "Well, of course." So I open it up, and it's very obvious a tapeworm.
It's impossible to say where the tapeworm came from, though Dr. Bond said the patient told him he ate a lot of sushi, and that lines up with recent CDC warnings about intestinal parasites in fish.
He's like, "How big's the worm?" I was like, "I don't know, let's unroll it." We're in the lobby at the emergency department, and I take out some paper towels, and I just unravel the worm and sort of measure it out with a clipboard, like a foot-long clipboard. I'm like, "Oh, it's 5.5 feet long. I'm 5'7". It's about my size right here, stretched out end to end.
Dr. Bond treated the patient with a simple deworming medication and sent him home. The patient was fine, but both he and Dr. Bond have one doozy of a story to tell. This is InsideEdition.com.